Howdy folks, Windy City Thetan Watch. It is Monday night, the 23rd of September. We'll see if we can get people in here. I'm in a hotel, I'm remote. This might go terribly wrong, but kind of wanted to do a speed run on what went on this past weekend. So this past weekend down at Scientology in Chicago, remember that the Chicago Scientology Center is 650 South Clark Street in Printers Row. And I was heading down and I was going to go through the farmer's market just to scout out what was going on there. And we came across one of the body routers. They went into one of the retail locations and they were passing out flyers. And then I found the flyer and decided, hey, I think I want to see if we can follow what goes on with this human rights. So there was the International Day of Peace was what they were celebrating. And they were passing out flyers trying to get people to come into the org. So that's what our objective is tonight. I've traveled most of the day. During my travel, I did hear, and again, this is all I know is that Nance Drew had court today. It appears that she is ungagged. I'm pretty sure she's going to go live this evening. She might end up going live while we're on here, but we'll see what happens with that. And then later on this evening, we're going to see Declared Dave, and he's got, I think this is another one of the Dirty Jobs videos that we're doing. Fuzzy will know better about that, so we'll get some information on that. Hopefully you can hear me okay. Again, I'm not in my normal spot. I am obviously in a hotel, or I've made my room to look like a hotel, and that's kind of where we're at. The videos that we're going to look at tonight, they do have chapters, so we'll kind of go through there real quick. Let me see. Boy, this is much more challenging here. I'm going to pause that for a second, and let's see, what do I do? Can I make that full screen? Yeah, sure, we'll make it full screen. Bring it up on screen. And so this was Saturday morning. I've just gone through the farmer's market. There was no evidence of any Scientologists being in the farmer's market at this point in time. This farmer's market is about a block away from Scientology's office there in, let me move this out of the way so it doesn't vibrate on us anymore. Scientology is about a block away from this farmer's market. This farmer's market is on Dearborn. Scientology is on Clark. They're both about 650 South. So I've come out of that and I'm about to go over to the org because I want to pull down the shades. And if you look in this image right here, and you can see this very tiny thing, I don't know if you can see the cursor, but you've got straight ahead of me is the white car profile, and in front of it is the black car profile, and then a little gap and an SUV. Well, that person is Olga right there. And I just catch her out of the corner of my eye and it's like, oh, this is interesting. So we're going to follow her for a little bit. Seem to be a different tier of staff. Oh, but and light blue shorts. So we caught her. Now I'm going to see. I'll speed it up to watch as she goes into this building. This is the Dearborn station, and there's a little like just a common area with tables and chairs. As I walk in, we're going to kind of see her ready to come out, so I'm going to give her. We haven't gone in here before, so yep, it is. Just a second. So you can see, I'm just backing out because I don't. I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm going to wait until she comes out. I don't want to walk past her while she's in here. Once she comes out, I'll look and see what she handed out. So this is just our friend Olga, right? Eastern European. I've caught her many times, whether it's Way to Happiness, Dianetics, or whatever. She usually confronts me and says, don't follow me. She does have a phone. She's got some flyers in her hand. We'll see what those flyers are in just a second. So I'm going to then just go ahead and zip in. And I'm coming up to the tables, and I can see there's a flyer here. All right, let me see if I can get that timing a little bit better. So this is a human rights event that Scientology is putting on. They're going to put it on over at the org. And on this invitation, it's saying, hey, come join us from 2 p.m. till 3:30 p.m. and we'll hand out more pamphlets. And then if you join us from 4 to 6, we'll have some speakers and we'll have some light refreshments, speakers on human rights, presumably human rights. By the way, Scientology knows nothing about human rights. They have a manifesto that tells what human rights should be. The very first item on that manifesto is that everybody's entitled to their day in court. However, anytime that you take a class in Scientology, you are automatically signing up for arbitration. So even though they believe that everybody believes it deserves a day in court, they send all of their people to arbitration. Then let's see here. I don't know that there was, oh, how do I get back here? Then we head back over to the org.
Now those are places where you're somebody who's trying to enforce the law. And I would imagine that human trafficking and child abuse are much more important laws to be enforced. All right, so this one's going to do the door first. Hopefully you're seeing in there, but right, we're empty.
You can see it's dead empty in there, right? Scientology just never is.
Scientology is empty today. Up. Maybe he was coming over for a different reason.
He eventually does come.
He has no visitor. Anything you'd like to share about your church? Lots of people would love to know why it's so important that we join the Church of Scientology. Nothing positive about your cult?
We're going to see him later on today in the second video, and it's going to be funny. He's going to do the same thing that he always does.
There was a council meeting here in Chicago yesterday. I'm sorry, on Thursday.
Really
I was unable to be there, but I did reach out to the person who sent me that information and asked if I can get this.
Let me kind of just scroll down a little bit. The next thing that was interesting in the morning was that we saw the return of Izzy. A couple of weeks ago,
Izzy's
we saw
back.
This woman kind of give a farewell hug to one of her
So
coworkers.
we've got Izzy in front of us?
And she was gone since then. But here we see that she's now somehow back associated with this. Later on today, we're going to see her
Civilian Clothing Day
with a travel bag.
You're fine, it's not on you.
But like, she's like a
Yeah, let me try that.
So we did just see a public go in. You probably won't be able to see, but she'll come through that little doorway there quickly.
And maybe I'll have to go to the errand where
I'm pretty comfortable the public don't want people to know
so hopefully
that. Now,
you're
there
getting
are some
a clearer
publics
process right
tend
now.
to be more proud of the idea of Scientology than staff members do. Howdy.
Thanks, Fuzzy. So we've seen Izzy return. We're going to see a staffer return. That's not so much. This one is really, I loved this next video here.
Yes, I am.
You know, I just found.
So what's happened is a woman has just come up the street and she works in the neighborhood. On the literary festival, which was 2 weeks before this, we had several demonstrators out there. Never End Nana was there, Heli Gear, Juanita, Style Audit 1A was out there. And Heli Gear engaged with a woman who was working there. She had come out onto the sidewalk and Heli Gear just spoke to this person for a little while. Well, this person sees me she doesn't know who I am. She didn't see me that day. She sees me in front of Scientology and she wants to kind of tell me what she learned from Heli Gear.
Found out about this last weekend. It was
At the literary festival.
Yes, because I work at urgent care right there.
They tried to get me arrested 7 times.
I'm about to say, there was some old ladies standing outside my job recording, and they was telling me about it. I never knew about it.
Yeah, it's very dangerous.
The only thing I remember out of everything she told me was they get paid $47 a week or $46 a week, and they stay across the street. It's like 7 people to an apartment.
In Imprint.
And this right here?
Yep.
And then she told me that if their family members and they try to leave out and their family's still in there, they get cut off from their family, they can't talk to them no more.
Correct.
That's the only thing out of everything she told me I remember.
Those are good enough things to remember.
Exactly, to stand out. That's crazy.
One of the things, so today,
That's technically a cult.
oh, it's 100% a cult.
And it's crazy.
The one thing that I always ask them is, can you talk about your church?
This was, to me, just so phenomenal, right? So as Fuzzy noted, she remembered that, hey, they get paid $47 a week. Now, by the way, that's only if you're Sea Org. If you're a staff member, the pay cycle's a little bit different. Usually you make less than that. She also recalled that, oh, there are people that live across the street. A lot of people in the same apartment. They have a policy called family disconnection. So we're 2 weeks away from that event. That's the first time this person ever heard anything about Scientology. Helliger was able to talk to her about that. And she still remembers that. So I assure you, she's had conversation with other friends. She's had conversations with other people saying, hey, do you know what that place is down the street from us? So, again, in my opinion, protesting works, right? So we've educated somebody. This is now another person who's going to be able to go out there and tell other passerbys. It's funny. I thought at first I wouldn't be able to come back here. I had some prior engagements, but I was able to shuffle them around, and I'll have an afternoon session this day, and she'll see me again. But she was like, "Oh, I'm going to see you every day now, aren't I?" You're darn right you are. So again, kudos to Helliger. And I think the last one we'll do, we'll do two more on this. So this is, we've never seen this person before, but we've got a new person coming in. This person, he hasn't been well trained on me as an SP yet because he communicated with me.
Anything positive to share about church? Are you with the human trafficking or the child abuse?
He said, it's wonderful. Everything's wonderful. And you always get that kind of answer when a Scientologist will respond that everything's great, my life is great, but they really can't go into any detail, right? It's not that I'm healthier, I'm wealthier, I feel better about my fellow man, right? There's just never anything going on in that space. And then the last, we'll see him later on in the afternoon as well. The last one is a student who comes up to engage me. She's seen me out there.
I struggle with these words.
Oh, let me see if I can go back just a bit.
Avoid. I struggle with.
So you can see the young lady in the lower right. She's going to stop by, and I think you'll hear her clearly, but she's going to say, thanks for being out here. I can't believe they've got this cult right next to my place. Why do they let them have these places next to a college dorm? If I'd have known this when I was picking my dorm, I would not have picked this dorm.
I struggle with these words sometimes. I felt good about myself on, howdy.
Can I talk to you?
Yes, you may.
Yeah. So, it is really scary being right next to a Scientology building as a college student. I'm more scared about them than like anything happening in the city.
I agree.
So,
No, I appreciate that. Can you do me a favor? So you'll find more information there.
uh-huh.
The Scientology, they don't like to
my
advertise
card.
themselves. You're going to see things like United for Human Rights. That's them. This is anti-psychology, anti-psychiatry. This is not human rights. You're going to see way to happiness. They're going to pass out all kinds of things like this, and they're
going to just kind of give her a little bit of an education on some of the other front groups that we're going to see here quite often when we're out there. And again, this is when people see me persistently out there, I get more people approaching me. I like when we get these interviews. You can tell I didn't really prompt this person to say anything, and her first statement was, "It's really scary that this place is right next to us." Right. So I really like that these people are becoming more and more aware of it. We can never rest on our laurels. It will take. We will have to consistently help educate these people in regards to what's going on with this cult. All right, I'm going to jump to the afternoon one. I know I'm running through fast. By the way, this is a speed run. Usually, I think on this day I was out there for 5.5, 6 hours. We don't get content for the whole 6 hours. I need to be out there for that whole 6 hours. Between these two videos, I thought that I was going to go home and I was just going to stay home because I had prior engagements. I went home. I quickly prepped for. We had a party at the house. I quickly prepped everything, and I decided I'm going to come back down. remember, they had flyers out that said they were going to have people coming to the org at 2 o'clock. I will give you a spoiler alert. They had no participants come to this event. So they were absolutely ineffective in regards to recruiting people to come to this event, or I had some effect on trying to help people not come to this event. But I did come back down. Let me go ahead and go to the other video real quick.
Not around.
So in the afternoon, I come back, and this is us coming up to the org, and we're going to do, right, if you know my modus operandi, get the blinds down as quickly as possible, because we never want the retail space to look open. I don't want this to look inviting to people.
So there's nothing really here at the table. The windows are open. So they do have 3 people coming in.
I'm trying to wave frantically to get the attention of the 3 guys that walked in.
I'm trying to wave, get their attention.
They just didn't see me, so it was it was ineffective.
We'll see that he'll come forward and he'll close blinds fairly quickly.
But okay, and now we're going to have somebody come out of the lunchroom, and she's going to close the blinds. We get to see her later on because...
Why is this cult closing its blinds? What is it hiding from the public?
We're going to see her later on. She's going, remember, the gentleman that's at the front door earlier in the day, he always closes the doors as soon as I show up. He closes the door first and then does the blinds. And it's really, again, to make it so that I can't see that it's empty inside there, and so the people inside can't be interpolated by whatever I'm doing. Let's see, we'll scroll down. Oops. This is just more staff members arriving.
How's the Human Rights Festival coming along here? What have you done for human rights today? Have you done anything for human rights?
Today, I definitely changed the banter, right, because they're having a human rights
This morning,
exhibition.
I saw them passing out this flyer. So that's kind of why we're out here today. This is a previous flyer that we've captured. What have you done for human rights today? Is that arbitration one of those things, right, that everybody's entitled to a free trial, so we get arbitration?
So one of the things, that person that we just saw, he is 90% of the time, he's dressed up in staff uniform, so he's a staffer. The reason that they're coming in civilian clothing today is in case anybody does show up to this seminar that is going to listen to their human rights. It looks like it's a full room, right? So, oh, look, there's a lot of public that are here that are interested in what we're doing here. They do this quite a bit. We saw at Lit Fest 2 weeks ago, they would hide their Dianetics shirts underneath their coats, and then they would act as customers taking the stress test at the event. So again, Scientology is the most deceptive place, deceptive organization in the world with regard to these types of behaviors. When I first arrived, remember, we saw 3 guys that were going in there. This is the 3 guys exiting.
Okay, so the 3 men that went in earlier, they're about to come out?
They're getting a talking to from the staff saying, hey, there's a guy outside, don't listen to him. And if you don't believe me, let's listen to these guys when they come out. Howdy, Manning. Thanks for showing up. I know it was short notice.
Did they give you a good warning about me? You know they're Scientology, right?
Yeah, we were just
okay,
curious.
no problem, no problem.
I was just curious. We were just curious.
Honestly,
Cool.
we were just like,
That's
hanging
fair.
out.
And-
We've never been in Chicago. Well, we've never been to Chicago before. We were walking by.
Do you ever want to see the stuff that they really do?
Yeah.
That's really what you want.
So I'm giving them a business card.
I know. they think I'm a criminal. So they're into human trafficking and child abuse. Those are the 2 things that I hate the most. I don't care about their philosophy.
You probably heard me, right? Or heard them when they first came out. They said, yeah, they told us not to talk to you. It's just the Scientology tactic and mantra. And by the way, they're going to educate. Remember, we saw the new character unlock in the first video, that larger black man. We're going to see that he's going to get a little bit of instruction from the young lady that closed the blinds on us. Oh, that's our next
member. This morning on the earlier...
You might not be able to see, but you see my reflection in that door window. The black male that we saw earlier, he's right there, but he's now wearing a goldenrod shirt, which, by the way, if you know anything about Scientology, it's rather funny that goldenrod is the color that they chose for this human rights, because goldenrod is the type of paper you get when you get the SP declare. So Tori Spelling has Tori Magoo 44, she has her goldenrod, and she'll read from that at the beginning of most of her lives. But you can't see this, but what she's doing is she's pointing at me and saying, don't talk to that person. So whenever you're here, don't ever talk to that person.
Earlier broadcast, right? We saw the black male come by and he walked in, and he's now getting a coaching on I'm a criminal. He's being trained to know that I'm a criminal. Now, granted.
Now, remember, anybody who's anti-Scientology, that's their criminal, that's their crime. And that's what they get brainwashed into believing, that I actually am a criminal. They'll never say that I've done any crimes. Like, they won't say that I'm somebody who has assaulted people, that I've battered people, that I've unalived people, that I've stolen from people. They'll just say vaguely, I'm a criminal. This, I thought, was very funny, that we're going to see the young man come out and close the doors again, because the young lady only closed the blinds. This guy, Alex, he is somebody who's always intent on closing the doors.
I haven't seen Spike here today, but I did just see the younger one. What have you done for human rights today? Have you done anything for human rights today? What have you done for human rights today? Oh, you just said his name. So Alex wants to close the front doors. And again, I'm okay with that, because look at how inviting the cult of Scientology looks right now. The doors are closed. Anything positive to share about your church?
So they can't even get their own system straight here, right? What is it? Are the doors supposed to be open, or are the doors supposed to be closed? When should they be open? When should they be closed?
Anything positive you have to say about your church? What's the first tenet of human rights? Everybody's entitled to a free trial. Why does everybody here go in arbitration? Do you know
this is a conversation? So you'll only see glimpses of this guy, but he knows a lot about it. He's close on a lot of the things that he talks about. But there's a neighbor walking by, and he's kind of wondering why I'm there. I noticed that he went and looked at the sign, and I said, hey, just be careful. That's a cult. You don't really want to go in there. Give them your name.
Know what they are?
I know what it is. I'm not.
Okay, good. No, I'm just trying to. They're very deceptive in their marketing. So today they're doing a pamphlet on human rights. They know nothing about human rights. They're a human trafficking, child abusing cult. Yep. Thank you.
So it's funny. He keeps on walking away and then coming back, and then he wants to let me know about the Aftermath show.
So they used to have it up in Lakeview. This is, you're going to see a lot more stories about the things they do wrong on that one.
The documentary with former actress Leah Remy?
Yep. So that going clear is another one. Yeah, Tom Cruise is just loopy.
Well, no, he and David, what's his name?
Miscavige.
Miscavige are like right-hand men.
Absolutely.
I like that. He knows their buddy.
Yep. Danny Master's in jail for 30 years to life after abusing 3 of their members.
Oh yeah, no.
He's a member of good standing still. The members that came forward, they were kicked out of the church.
He's a member.
That always boggles my mind. And this guy is also saying he's still a member, but the idea that the person who committed a crime in the real world is still a member in good standing of this church, and the victims who came forward to tell the police what he had done are all disconnected from their families. It's just sinful what this church does. Now, disconnection is not a crime. There was a video out earlier this week. Why do you protesters keep on telling the police that they have disconnection? I don't know that the protesters really lead with that. We usually lead with human trafficking and child abuse. But the idea that not only are there legal elements that we want to be able to stop Scientology on, but there's a court of public opinion. And the idea of family disconnection, it's good for people that are being tried to be recruited into it, for them to know that you're going to be disconnected from your family. And then there's also the idea that we want the public to realize what an awful organization this is, and people who make you disconnect or have a bounded condition in regards to staying connected to your family who is out of Scientology, that is a way that we can help people not enter into this cult, right? Sorry, I'm rushing through here so much, folks. This is fun. We're going to see a Scientologist come in.
Scientology is
We've
only
seen
here to
Trashy
stop wars.
V12 was the first one that engaged this guy, and his statement was the
How many
only
wars did
reason
Scientology stop
exists-
today? No wars stopped today by Scientology? What are you doing for human rights?
He made a statement months ago. The only reason Scientology exists is to stop wars. And one thing I'll say is that we have 2 wars going. We probably have more than that. There are probably civil wars and conflicts and genocides going on all over the place that don't get as much publicity. But there's a war in Gaza right now, and there's a war in Ukraine right now. How come Scientology's tech is not stopping those wars? This was kind of a funny interaction. We've got a guy coming down the street, and you'll notice more often than not, if I think it's a civilian, I'm going to put my camera up in the air because I don't really, nobody in this neighborhood's asked to be on camera all the time. So I'm being nice. I'm putting it up in the air, and this gentleman's approaching.
Howdy.
You just said, "What's
it's up in
dog?"
the air. You don't have to worry about it. You're okay with human trafficking?
Did you notice that he was going in when he noticed that I put the camera on him? Well, I don't know that he noticed I put the camera on him, but when I asked him if he's okay with human trafficking, then he backed out very quickly. And again, that embarrassment or being ashamed of going into a place, that should be a red flag. That probably is a good gut instinct that says, I shouldn't be going in there. You're not going to see it on this, but I've got body cam footage that has a really great shot of this. There's a short that I put out today that you'll see him.
What do you think they know about human rights?
His statement was something like, "Well, that's not my concern." When I said, "What do you think they know about human rights?" "Well, that's not really my concern." I'm like, "Okay, well, what is your concern?" And then I asked him about human trafficking.
Is human trafficking okay? Or since they're not trafficking? You're free to go in. Are you ashamed of going in?
No, I don't want to be on camera. I don't need
Why don't you want to be on camera?
my right not to be on camera. I don't
That is an incorrect statement.
no.
It is your right not to be in public. If you don't want to be in public, you're allowed not to be in public.
He's annoyed that I've got a camera on him, right? And he makes an incorrect assertion. He says, "I have a right not to be on camera," which is incorrect. If you're in public, you're free game.
There's a Scientologist.
Let me see. I'll see if I can stop this. I probably won't because it's on the body cam. You'll see great element. And what I think I'll do is I'll try and find the short and I'll put it in the comments. But let's see if we can get him to. Maybe I can do it if I slow things down.
Public.
So just before he takes a step, you'll see just the tip of his finger. Hopefully you saw it there, just as it caught on there. There wasn't too much else that had occurred there that day. It was mostly that I was trying to make sure that that I was going to confront anybody that wanted to go in for the human rights seminar that they were doing to let them know what Scientology was all about in regards to that. Let me go back here for a second, and I'm going to just pull up that short. So this is a short of that gentleman that we just saw.
And the people that I have been in touch with have said not a single brand new person has gotten into Scientology in Chicago since the grand opening of that building.
You can see him right there, right? He's just standing out there, proud as everything. giving me the one finger salute in that point. He also made an oral statement that is the verbalization of the symbol that he's giving me right now.
You're okay with human trafficking?
This is the body cam.
Then you shouldn't be in public. What do you think they know about human rights?
That's not my time.
What is it? Is human trafficking okay? Or since they're not trafficking?
That's not cool.
You're free to go in. Are you ashamed of going in?
I don't need, I don't want to be on camera. I don't need to.
Why don't you want to be on camera?
Because I right not to be on camera. I don't.
That is an incorrect statement. It is your right not to be in public. If you don't want to be in public, you're allowed not to be in public. There's a sign.
I think you can hear it a little bit more. I think you can hear it a little bit more clearly on that particular element. All right, folks. And last night we did another show with Fat Grammy, and we talked. Fat Grammy went to the Chicago Police Board and was she was a spectator on their Zoom meeting. In the future, I'm going to go to those. I want to go in person, and I'll help. I'll get some good talking points from people like Fat Grammy, Audit LA, Pup Groomer. There's several people out there that know a little bit more about that. But I have 2 feet, and I want to be able to help in that space. What I'd like to do is just say, anybody have any questions? I know we don't have a big crowd in here. I was very unfair to you. I did the short at the last minute. I've been traveling all day. I just got to the hotel. I will be out of town for most. I won't be in Chicago for most of the week. So just wanted to go ahead and show you the speed run from this past weekend. And again, the point that I think we should be happy about is the idea that while Scientology did have a program on human rights on Saturday, they got no attendees. So nobody ended up coming to the org that day. This gentleman here, he might be somebody who is attending human rights. He might be an NOI person going in. He might have been a speaker at this human rights element. I'm just not sure what his particular reason for going in today was. But we saw nobody else go in there at all today. There were a couple of yahoos that went in. They were trying to get 15 minutes of fame. That Scientology immediately kicked them out, knowing that they were just, I'm going to say derogatorily, they were kind of stoner kids. Went in there just to kind of goof on Scientology. Scientology, if they know you're going to goof on them, they're going to send you out pretty quickly. While it is for everyone, it is not for, if you're not going to be serious about it, they really don't want to have you in that space. Folks, I don't know if we'll stay on for the next 13 minutes. If there are any questions, more than happy to talk about those questions. We can talk a little bit about Nance's case. Now, I don't know specifics about what went on today, but I do know that it seems like there was a somewhat positive outcome there today. Declared Dave is going to do a show this evening. So that'll be awesome. Let me see. I can't remember what his guest name was, but I will pull that up for you very quickly. All right, I'll pull it up kind of quickly. Gabrielle Toth, who was an ethics officer. So that is one of the jobs, right? The ethics officer is kind of like a principal. If Dave's, is he already, am I that far behind times? I'm in the wrong time zone too, so that might be why I'm wrong here. Folks, let's head over to Declared Dave. He's got Gabrielle Toth, and she is an ethics officer. Thanks for putting up with me. I know it was probably a terrible quality, but I just wanted to get this the speed run out there so that people could see it. Appreciate your time. Let's head over to Dave and tell him I said hi. Thank you.